All right, so as we look at what transpired in that last game, we had a new WA pick for Xeno. Keep in mind, Xenotronics is going up against one of the best, if not the best, mid players in the world in Yammyn, Season 2 MVP, as you had said before, Incon. Now, they just had one job for him. Don't die, right? I kind of equated it to like way back in the day. You just give like that dude the bomb and you have him plant and search and destroy. It's essentially the same thing here. You just like, hey, don't die. He dies first. Bless him, right? That happened. But he was able to bounce back with this team. It didn't detract them from being able to look forward here. Now as we get ready for game 2, is the focus still there on, the Xeno just stay alive, don't really, worry too much about taking on Yammyn?
The way that Mass played that Mercury, I expect that strategy of letting Xenotronics play the Noir or something generally safe in the backline to still continue. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Luminosity should remain the same strat.
I agree. The only thing I want to see from Luminosity this game is a little bit more focus on objective securing. We saw them give up, I believe, a Gold Fury and a Fire Giant that game. If they hadn't built up such a lead, that could have been a big issue for them and let NRG come back. So they need to make sure they're doing the objectives when they have Hog up, or make sure they turn and focus the enemy team.
But the problem for NRG was every time that an objective was being stolen by them, they lost at least 2 members in the process. So after that point in time, Luminosity, they got the middle Phoenix, and then they got the left side Phoenix. So they were able to still capitalize despite not getting those important objectives.
Healers getting taken off the board as they have been very strong all tournament. NRG does not want to deal with that Sylvanas again. Their team fights were so difficult for them to fight during because of the protections and the heal from Sylvanas. JeffHindla was doing an amazing job. They do not want that problem again.
Now, Jingwei was a big factor, but
yes.
Jeff was basically a sneaky, silent factor as well with the Sylvanas, getting the roots, getting the sustain off, allowing the rest of his team to really be in a position to continue the pushes. And I like this idea to switch from the Raw. Now, despite Yammyn getting that first blood onto Xenotronics through the wall, which was amazing, I screamed at the top of my lungs when I saw that.
Did.
And this is going to put him in a better position because I feel like after that first blood, he didn't really have that many good snipes after.
No, afterwards, he actually found himself getting killed quite a bit. BaRRaCCuDDa, because of how aggressive he was playing, was diving right onto him. Quite a few Jing ults, actually, with the demise of his Raw play. So give him the Janus, let him play a little bit farther back, be a little bit safer.
That mobility from Janus is really going to play a factor here, something that Ra really just does not have. And to be fair, like, if you're going to give a player like that, why not let it be Yammyn? They pick Rat first here. Do they go for Xingwei now, or do they wait it out? Oh, there we go. Oh, man, it looks like your boy's kind of learning a little something here.
It's like Smite.
I don't know. They keep hiring me.
No, definitely. You talk about BaRRaCCuDDa, you talk about Two Gods, you talk about Jingwei, you talk about the Soul.
I mean, I can't believe that they didn't ban out the Jingwei, honestly. This is one of those things where
maybe against it.
NRG is saying, hey, we can deal with BaRRaCCuDDa's Jingwei, and I haven't seen that proven yet from any team.
It's impressive to go from a point where you literally have 102-degree fever in the previous 2 days to now beating
like
NRG.
dying.
And yeah, you're like practically dying, and now you beat the NRG Esports team that had an 18-game winning streak.
And I like that Fenrir pick up there because Fenrir in that Obey matchup was such a factor. Just the sheer attacking power that god has is unprecedented.
So you mix more offense with defense. Fenrir is going to be able to go ham, and when adapting goes ham, you need ways to bail him out. So you have the Janus portals, you have the Geb shield. Outpwash being hovered over by Luminosity. This has to be trolled.
The troll Outpwash hover. If they pick it, then my Smite knowledge is going out the window. Anubis picks, Outpwash picks in the semifinals. Once again, going back to the Nuwa, I like the idea. Xenotronics, you know what? Use your ultimate, give us a lot of damage, bring us some CC, stay in the back, and please don't die.
Just allowing Mass to go into the backline. Mercury last game, Ratatoskr this game, still having that global presence. And let's talk about Scary D giving those pistols on the screen there. The last game on the Amaterasu, he was on fire.
Scary D probably had the best game of his life. In fact, this could be the best tournament of his life, and what a time to be having it when there's so much money on the line.
We were talking about it in the best-of-5 set against NRG. You have to win this first game. You have to start off strong with some early momentum.
you know that NRG isn't going to let you go for a 3-0 sweep. It's not something that's going to happen. So if you want to beat them in a best of 5, you got to start winning early.
But knowing NRG, they always have ways to get back into it. We saw that they were able to stall out the game a little bit by getting that tier 2 tower in the mid lane the last game, you know, picking off Jeff when they lost their right side Phoenix. So there's always a small little crack in that window for a potential burst of energy through the door.
BaRRaCCuDDa ban coming out from NRG Esports, that respect ban over for ScaryD. They said, you know what? We're more afraid of ScaryD than we are of BaRRaCCuDDa right now on the Jing way.
At this point, it's great banning because, like you mentioned before, ScaryD has just been getting more and more confident every single game. This is not the same ScaryD that we've seen in the group stages whenever he messed up his teleport on 2 separate occasions.
I would love to see the Bacchus pick come out for JeffHindla. Jeff made that character famous.
Here we go.
And we're going to see him break it out. Absolutely great character. So much initiation on Bacchus, so much damage on Bacchus, plus, of course, the Intoxicate, a very unique form of CC.
You trying right now with Jeff to go with Mask into that backline. Ratatoskr having a knockup, Bacchus having a secondary knockup, as well as the Jing Wei defensive knockup, maybe protecting Xenotronics. But now on the flip side, NRG, they're still sticking to a more offensive style. Now having Bellona and the Chronos, and look at that glorious beard!
Oh man, I'm a verklempt right now. Jeez Louise, look at that.
emilitoo loves himself some Chronos as one of his go-to picks. It's still up on the table. Really enjoys the mage ADC's periods, which is why we see the Soul and Freya banned out, of course, in Luminosity, and the Awilix pick to combine with the Bacchus.
Yeah, so that means it's going to be ScaryD actually playing the Ratatoskr, unless he's been fancying some Awilix in that solo lane, but I don't necessarily expect that one.
The Cope baby strats.
The Cope baby strats. Well, we'll see.
I don't know. This draft definitely very interesting here, folks. All right, guys, let's go. Does LG go up 2-0, or do we see the defending champions come back?
I think I like the Janus and the Gep here to allow Adapting to be really aggressive.
I really like the LG draft here, but NRG losing 2 games in a row, that kind of sounds silly.
Unheard of.
All right, guys, well, you heard it from the desk, and now let's go ahead and hear it from our casters. Guys, game number 2 underway. Get all excited in the crowd. It's electric. And send it away to the casters.
Thank you, Golden Boy and analysts. LG's draft can probably be summarized by the following phrase: do you like knockups?
I think so. I mean, 4 knockups picked for them. Also, they have the Awilix as well. Mast has been phenomenal, debatably the best jungler at the tournament so far. I mean, to be fair, so many players have been playing, you know, immaculately to the best of their abilities that we've ever seen.
Also, Awilix not only good with their own combo, but it's also good against Fenrir. And I'm really looking for Adapting. He's going to go really hard early game, so picking that Awilix might make up for it.
We saw Mast play Awilix earlier in the tournament to really superb effect. Not only, you know, getting a lot of kills and ganking a lot, but really controlling a lot of team
I think
fights
that's
with it as
one
well.
of his best gods he has in his god pool. I do like the adjustments made from both teams, NRG banning away the Sylvanas and also locking away the Amaterasu, ScaryD's best god. This is going to force him onto the Ratatoskr, and you know, ScaryD, we don't really see too many assassins from him, so I'm very interested to see how this matchup is going to go.
Right, and we also see Fenrir Adapting actually picking up the same build as Captain Took did against Eager.
Going for the guard boots. I mean, this is going to give him a lot of protections early. He doesn't have Bumbas, though, so if he takes too much poke, he only has 1 health potion. He does need to be very careful in these early fights. You can see LG already grouped up. NRG know this is happening, though.
They're looking just to defend their own buffs here, really, but NRG looking to invade. 3 men of NRG over on the right-hand side.
LG knows this is happening, so they're going straight away from them, but iRaffer is actually spotting them out. He's going back to the blue buff to try to stop this. This is really good.
iRaffer only has Shell, though, and no Wrath on the side of LG. iRaffer's by himself. Mass taking a lot of damage right now. But iRaffer's a Gabin alone, but at the very least, he's bought a lot of time. You can see Adapting, picks up that speed buff on the top side and rotating over.
Has not alone for long. Here comes Adapting. Here comes Dimi. Jump down to stun. Mast wants to burn the purification. iRaffer picks up the first blood. Failed invade.
This is one of the biggest weaknesses we saw from Luminosity at Super Regionals, that when they're on the back foot, especially in the early game, they really struggle at responding to basically invades or beginning starts that they're not used to seeing.
And I love that KS coming out for iRaffer, my boy.
We did see LG go down early last game with the first blood onto Xenotronics, and, you know, of course, they came through and won that game.
Right, but this time I feel like NRG have a little bit more comfortable combo. Adapting is on Fenrir, where he can do a little bit more on his own, where in the last game on Awilix, he needed a little bit more setup from his team.
And also this time, Scarity's on a Ratatoskr who's behind a Bellona right now, which is very hard to deal with. He doesn't have his blue buff, so he's going to be pushed back to his tower for quite some time and likely locked under, losing a fair amount of gold.
And I want to talk about this new WA pick again, because last game I really didn't like it, but this game it looks amazing. It's so good against Janus, it's good against Bellona and Fenrir, and that's the two characters that's going to go for him. So being good against those characters is going to be so good late game.
Mostly against Janus, just for the fact that he always likes to stay in fights until he's very low and then portal through and escape, try and reset, get back to base. We see Rom picked up against him as well. The Fire Shard's going to guarantee damage unless he has Sanctuary on. So Yammyn's going to have to be very aware of when Xenotronics ult is up so he doesn't stay in a fight too long thinking he's going to be safe with his ult.
And it looks like NRG is really respecting ScarityD now, trying to put a lot of pressure onto the solo side to not get him ahead again, because he was a big factor why they won last game.
2 minutes in here, already 1 kill going the way of NRG Esports. Not much of a lead here, about 700 gold. Where is the snowball factor from NRG?
I mean, at this point, they gotta focus around the mid lane. Xenotronics is on the new WA, it's still bad early game. Take advantage of that. Also the fact that Bacchus is not too good early game. They can maybe do something around that.
Oh, BaRRaCCuDDa trying to back there. Im's not gonna let him though, just trying to delay him as much as possible. BaRRaCCuDDa could actually go aggressive here if he wants to, but just going to be focusing on the wave right now.
It's actually an evil 3v3 combo Luminosity have. Bacchus jumping in, then Awilix pulling them back into the minions of the Nuwa and then getting all the damage off. That's going to be so strong, even the early game.
Yeah, it's very similar to the 3v3 comps we saw Eager used to run, when it was Sobek Awilix, where they really just went for the guarantee knockups on Sobek, baited out some relics, and then re-engaged, pulled someone back into their mage every single time. Yeah. Typically, they ran Zeus, but the exact same style.
Adapting, jumping towards Xenotronics there. There's the Ragnarok. Actually managed to get Mars, who's only level 3. No purification available. Actually just uses it then through space and time.
Great
excellent knock up there from Jeff. But Adapting going in, Yammyn picks up the kill.
And great presence of mind from Adapting there. You saw him jump forward ultimate and immediately turn his attention over to Mast, whose relic wasn't up. He had used it. That was immaculate timing. His mass purification were coming up in just like 3 or 4 seconds.
And now it's down again, so he is basically on the same page he was before. And that gives space for NRG to invade everything.
And this is why I love Yammyn on this Janus. I think he was the first player we ever saw in the SPL play it to an incredibly high level, utilizing the portal to not only efficiently get his own team in and out of fights, but also make sure his team was farming better. Just right there, it's very small, but portaling iRaffer over into the mid lane, just increasing their clear time. He's able to soak up the wave as well. iRaffer hits 5 off of it.
I really like kind of this new strategy that NRG have adapted to this game. You know, last game was very much centered around, you know, putting Xenotronics behind, leaving Master ScarityD to their own devices. This game it's all been about invading Mask, invading ScarityD. And, you know, 2 kills onto Mask. He's behind last game. He had such a lead over Adapting.
This game, I actually would like to see a blink onto the gap. We saw iRaffer playing it earlier in the tournament, and he didn't go blink. They had a really hard time engaging and getting into the fight. I think they might know that, and so he's going to go blink and really get these hard engages in, because they don't really have a good engage on NRG. They have Bellona, but it's going to be Adapting
more than anyone else, I think, just jumping forward first and then looking to loop around the fight. You saw the Face It player comparison there as well. Adapting, you know, known as the best player in the world last year. I think that title's up for debate this year. Everyone's been very good.
And BaRRaCCuDDa in that duel and just showing dominance.
Oh my goodness, the damage there from Dimi on it to Mast. ScarityD dashing forward, trying to get some damage on, but nothing really going here for Luminosity.
Just think about, you know, where LG is now. I mean, they won game 1, but Mast was banned competitively for a year. Not a lot of people remember that. This is his first season back into the SPL, and at the beginning of the year, he was thrown around and kicked off of 3 different teams. I believe he was on Envy, Noble, just moved around. Finally, when Anister actually leaves that dual lane of JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa, they managed to pick up Mast, and he has developed into one of the best junglers we have.
Mast have always been a good jungler. He just needed that stable team to play around him, and he finally found it, and that's why he's doing so good in every single game.
And he's got the carry in the ADC lane. BaRRaCCuDDa already up. He was just up 2 levels over emilitoo, just managing to get one back now is the Chronos for NRG, but so far, yet again, dominating the left-hand side of the map.
Right now, it is NRG ahead. they're going to keep invading, getting this lead. This comes down to whether BaRRaCCuDDa can rotate into this fight and maybe help his team out, because he is way ahead of emilitoo at this point, so he can possibly get into this fight and help Luminosity out.
And you can see emilitoo actually going for the Dynasty Plate Helm, so not the traditional Chronos build we do see. It's going to help him against BaRRaCCuDDa in this laning phase. Dimi has ult, but not going to invest into ScariD. That might have been a kill, but it would have been really close.
It would have been very difficult for him to get. He would have had to invest way too much there, and the possibility of a rotation out of Luminosity was too high. But NRG, yet again, going for the speed buff invade with ScariD so low, you know, they're going to have the numbers advantage here.
Ooh, emilitoo versus BaRRaCCuDDa. Knocks up Bear Strike. Perfect Sanctuary. BaRRaCCuDDa not going to go aggressive. emilitoo rewinds, gets his full health bar.
Space of time comes out. JeffHindla knocks up one. No pull in there, though, from Mars. He was just out of range. But here comes ScariD. Another knock up. Ragnarok comes through from adapting. Forced to jump away with the Stone Shield. ScariD going in here. Fire shards up in the sky. Not enough damage yet from Xenotronics.
Jeff needs to be a little bit careful. He's low, but iRaffer had already used roll out. He's caught in the middle of 3, and LG back on the board.
Great ultimate there from Mars. He didn't use it there for the pull-in, but he used it there for the steroid that you get off of that ultimate.
And ScariD in that ult, just making a lot of fear onto NRG, and so adapting to fall back and basically locking off iRaffer.
Yammyn does secure his speed buff, I believe. ScariD trying to invade it there. Interesting enough as well, we saw the invade coming out from NRG. Yammyn was right there, but was more committed to his mid-wave. He actually portaled back in, then ulted through, but Luminosity was already trying to engage, and Yammyn actually wasn't in position to help them out at the start of the fight.
And this is like last game, NRG having a little bit of a lead in the side, and still Luminosity is able to fight into them.
It just shows the resiliency of this team, and that's been kind of their story all year. When they came into this second split of the year, there were a lot of doubters out there about how this roster could perform. You know, ScariD particularly was a lot of negativity surrounding him.
I mean, and I really love that Xenotronics found another comfortable guard, because even though it's in the early game and Noir is bad, he's still doing a great job and getting out a lot of damage, so just great job by Xenotronics.
Yeah, he had a lot of consistency problems and limited god pull as well. I mean, online, Xenotronics was phenomenal throughout the SPL, but we really saw him struggle in the group lands and super regionals. He's done a great job so far this tournament, and again, that comfort like you mentioned.
ScariD up into the sky here, just barely managing to get away from the damage of adapting in Dimi. And my question is how Dimi actually perfect ultimate, the bludgeon just off the mark. He's looking for the kill from ScariD. ScariD baiting here, tower shots coming through. Adapting here though does have the tank boots to let him tank this tower up. ScariD, no way he gets out of this one.
Look at this, no, speed buff on adapting here, but the big thing is that we see Mass rotating over, just not there in time, unfortunately. Great job though by ScariD, buying so much time, just doesn't work out in the end.
But then again, just a bad decision going down again. He should have gone back.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I think he really wanted to play Dimi. I'll play Dimi there. You saw him actually look for the stun inside the tower, but he was just barely off the mark. Couldn't connect it. Wasn't close enough.
But adapting was still in the jungle, so overall going down was just a bad decision.
Left-hand side, BaRRaCCuDDa looking for the 1v1 with emilitoo. Is stunned out here. No follow-up damage from Emil. BaRRaCCuDDa. Oh, I thought he was going to dash in aggressively there. Would have loved to see that.
No one going for the Gold Fury just yet. Actually, a lot of the focus in this game on the right-hand side of the map, but if we start to see LG or NRG rotate and look for Gold Furies, BaRRaCCuDDa is going to be so much more effective than emilitoo.
Exactly. We usually see Gold Fury been taken when the ADC is having the control. Right now, it is BaRRaCCuDDa who have the control, so they might be looking for this Gold Fury to get back in the game.
The issue is that they are still behind a little bit, and you can see the ward coverage actually in favor of NRG around the Gold Fury, doing a great job. Not only a ward right there on the left-hand side, but one on the top, one on the bottom. I believe, do they have one in the pit as well? It might be right on top of it.
BaRRaCCuDDa does have the Devour Gloves, so if they just get the wall control around the Gold Fury, he will soon be able to solo it.
I've been really impressed by Master's ability to farm back up and come back in this game. At one point, he was 3 levels behind adapting.
And, I mean, even last game, right? He was behind, but somehow was out farming. Speed buff going to be started here. Mask needs one more hit to secure it. Through space and time, hits Mask. Speed buff has already been secured, but adapting to the back. He's knocked up immediately, pulled back in. Mask still alive, 1 health, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade.
Xenotronics gets one. Dimi goes in with the Eagles rally. ScariD chasing him out, stuns him out. No other stun comes through. The Wrath stun there from Dimi stops all 4 of LG. BaRRaCCuDDa knock up. BaRRaCCuDDa auto attacks. No, Dimi's still alive, but ScariD grabs the kill.
And there we go. There's the early rotation coming out from BaRRaCCuDDa. This is the way Luminosity is going to get back into this game.
Just the thing is, NRG once again overextending, diving so hard for Masting. Yeah, Adapting picks them up, but Mass does such a great job, especially utilizing the Feather Step to avoid a ton of damage. Great job by iRaffer on the Geb shield there as well to delay the death on Adapting, but just way too much overcommitment deep into LG's jungle. The exact same thing we saw last game.
NRG's got to be careful. BaRRaCCuDDa have been playing lights out this tournament, and if they give him this lead, he will destroy everybody.
Did Mars just steal his away?
I think so. I heard some taunts, and I heard cheering in the crowd.
Yeah.
It was close.
Alrighty, 11 minutes, 20 seconds in this game, 4-3. You know, a lot of people looked at this semi-final and thought, you know, NRG, this should be a clean 3-0, but Luminosity up one game, and they're still very close here in the second game despite a small advantage from NRG.
And it doesn't seem like NRG, when they finally got a lead, to kind of throw the lead. But Luminosity have been so good at getting back into the game. Usually we only see Luminosity being really good if they're ahead in the early game, but right now they're finding themselves behind and they're getting back into this game.
They've clearly done a ton of work in preparation for Worlds, not only getting their players comfortable, but also figuring out how to deal with early game aggression, you know, the part of the game that they really struggled with earlier in the year.
There's a winged, oh, actually, Rapper knocks up Xenotronics there. Xeno with the speed buff should be able to get away here. No re-engagement from LG, but talk to me a little bit about this winged blade here on the side of emilitoo with the Chronos.
I think overall it's just to get that extra movement speed. It's a very common build overall. I know Fumbo like it as well. I think it's just to get that extra movement speed and the attack speed, plus the health, getting a little bit more protection with that.
It's just such a useful overall utility item. Not a ton, not really, you know, slows on the side of LG, but it still can find its use. It's mostly is the health, right? It's very cheap, efficient, kind of this hybrid utility item that gives them a lot of options. And a lot of times with Chronos, you just have to be able to escape.
Going in aggressive here, emilitoo under the tower. A lot of damage coming out of there of the explosive bolts, and now he's going to be able to chunk this one down. It looks like Luminosity's poking their eyes towards the Gold Fury as well.
BaRRaCCuDDa just needed 1 or 2 more hits that would have gotten emilitoo low enough for airstrike to kill him, or at the very least baited out that sanctuary that he had picked up. And you can see BaRRaCCuDDa really wants that pick. LG, I think, trying to force this Gold Fury. You see them all grouped up, really starting to apply ward pressure as well.
That was such a cheeky play by Yammyn as well, coming around the back, getting the unstable vortex off, and then just disappearing through a portal.
BaRRaCCuDDa there, getting chased out by Adapting. Obviously, Fenrir, a great counter pick. So BaRRaCCuDDa, the only god he really needs to worry about is this Fenrir in the jungle.
And what Revel was doing was that it's basically just getting his Teleria boots off. He don't want to go in or engage or whatever. He just wants to get that extra gold.
Gold Fury start up here by NRG, but JeffHindla's staring them straight in the face. BaRRaCCuDDa around the side, showing his face as well. ScaryD using that ultimate, doesn't find a target. Here's a through space and time from Yammyn. Adapting, comes through the portal, jumps forward, and now NRG starting up the Gold Fury yet again.
Through space and time. It's been wasted right now, so no disengage for NRG if this goes poorly. Both teams have Rapper. Great Cataclysm gonna find 2, and NRG do secure the Gold Fury, but the fight's raging on.
JeffHindla under 50% HP. Great portal there from Yammyn to get his team out. Mars jumping in there. Roma Invicta from Dimi is going to get himself away. Fantastic disengage from
And
NRG.
you know what the call was from NRG. That get the Gold Fury, Gep, just hold them away and then get out everybody. They all got out so good by NRG.
Perfectly timing the Cataclysm as well, just hitting LG's front line as they jumped in. They don't really want to waste Purification for that, as it was just used as a zoning ultimate. A team fight wasn't breaking out. And LG, you know, they wanted to defend the Gold Fury, but it wasn't needed there. They really wanted the kills, and the fact that NRG were able to just cleanly get the Gold Fury and disengage without Janus is huge.
And now we see Adapting and Yammyn with a lot of gold in hand. So they want to get back and then they want to start forcing something. Right now, they're just taking it passive.
Middle lane, NRG pushing forward here, not going to find much. ScaryD on the right-hand side as well. Actually, a level lead here over Dimi, surprisingly enough, given the struggles he had in the early game.
Yeah, overall, Bellona have been winning the lane. I think it's because Dimi have just been rotating a lot and ScaryD haven't got a lot of free farm.
ScaryD, though, getting pressured out as he tries to invade this blue buff. No one else here. ScaryD does need to be careful, though. Obviously, the Janus ult back online for Yammyn. We actually haven't seen it used aggressively by NRG just yet to rotate and look for picks.
We have talked about ScaryD. We haven't really seen him on this type of guard, but it seems like he's doing really well on it.
It's clearly something he's been practicing and comfortable with, and we have seen a lot of solo laners really start to bring the assassins back into the meta, mostly those that do have that sustain in their kit, both this Ratatoskr and the Camazotz. And a lot of it, I think, comes down from just the big team fight ultimates. I mean, you know, when you jump down, you get that huge knockup, it's dangerous.
iRaffer, they're taking a lot of damage, but of a bit of a bait here. Adapting jumps in, pulled in by Mast, but uses the Ragnarok to get out of the damage. A lot of abilities used, but not much comes out of it.
And that's the annoying thing about Awilix. You jump in, you get ulted, and you just don't have the jump anymore.
And the worst part is, we talked about it earlier, where you really wanted to see that blink on Geb, is that if adapting is going to be the engage or the hard engage for energy, and Awilix ult is up, it's not going to go clean.
Oh, Dimi here knocked up, but a good stone shield from iRaffer will immune there a lot of the damage.
Yeah, just a great Geb shield coming out of iRaffer. They're looking to siege this tower down. I think they can easily do it. All of Luminosity are poked out, but they are going to stay.
No healing on either team right now. Jump forward from JeffHindla, Intoxicate onto 3. Yammyn from the side. Oh. Time BaRRaCCuDDa airstrikes away, and ScaryD down on top. Finds iRaffer. Here comes Xenotronics. Doing a lot of damage. Yammyn barely able to get out. ScaryD looking for the chase, though, going to turn his attention over to Dimi in mid.
The Sanctuary ran out just as the Fire Shards landed. Unfortunately, not enough damage for Xenotronics. Dimi low, Dimi dead. ScaryD with the kill there, and now Luminosity looking for the tower.
emilitoo has no mana. He can't get away the portal, but he's not ready for it. Body block by ScaryD comes in as well.
And this fight is on the shoulder of JeffHindla. Getting that 2-man jump, getting the 4-man ultimate, getting all the early damage, making it easy.
He's gonna fight him. ScaryD in the jungle.
Luminosity Gaming here, coming back against the world champions NRG Esports, and they're taking the tier 1 tower in mid. They're looking for the tier 2 as well. ScaryD, my goodness, 4, 1, and 3. Where has this been all split?
I have absolutely no idea, but Luminosity is just looking absolutely great in this game.
Just phenomenal performance from them. Tier 2 gonna be sieged up. Teleport coming in from Dimi, but LG back off. They might have overstayed their welcome. You can see iRaffer trying to chase them down with the rollout, but he's by himself. He's just trying to delay them as much as possible for adapting to rotate in. But
and as I was talking about in the other fight as well, JeffHindla finding 2 people in a jump, getting a 4-man ultimate, getting a lot of damage off, then ScaryD coming in with the ultimate, also getting a 3-man ult. It was so great.
Right now, gold even though. LG just fighting back into this so well.
I don't even know what to say. Like, JeffHindla, it's just blows my mind how fantastically he's been playing. Like, we know he's been a great support player, but this is just another level for him.
This team is absolutely crazy, right? It's just, this is the redemption squad. JeffHindla, I mean, he was one of the main reasons that C9 split up. I mean, Annister didn't want to play with him anymore. He didn't think Jeff was good enough. But BaRRaCCuDDa ends up splitting with Jeff as well. Jeff comes back onto the team because Baskin leaves for Soar. Xenotronics, he comes in, he never played in the SPL before, joins this squad. ScaryD, really rough start to the SPL, but the best performance we've ever seen from him on the world stage.
Adapting jumps in, JeffHindla taken to about 50% HP. They're adapting, chasing after him with the Ragnarok through space and time, just off the mark there. But JeffHindla's in a lot of trouble here. Unstable Vortex doesn't land, Cataclysm comes through. JeffHindla portal, JeffHindla dead to Yammyn. But Mast is here, Dimi with the Eagles rally. Mast trying to run away, jumps down there, adapting just off the mark. ScaryD gets another kill. Up into the tree he goes, and he's gonna run away.
What? Unbelievable.
ScaryD just turning up once again. Luminosity did overextend that fight, but ends up actually getting at the return kill. Just a great job from ScaryD there, just staying in the fight, calculated and good.
And great job as well from iRaffer to buy time for NRG. Yammyn almost picked up by Mast there. We did see him blink into the back line. iRaffer has been very quick with his shield. I want to know what his second relic's going to be. He just hit level 12.
I hope it's going to be a blink.
I think it has to.
Right now, they have no engage because Adapting can't jump in, so they need that blink engage to just collapse onto Xenotronic.
And that's a free gold fury there for Luminosity again. As well. Extending their lead even further. 1,800 gold, but the experience is the big point here. 3,600.
And it just seems like Luminosity is so comfortable around this Noir because they can actually leave Xenotronic because with these minions, he can be so safe himself and actually get a lot of damage in it.
Do you think this is going to warrant a Noir ban next game?
It might, because I think overall, right now, they're not dealing with the Noir. They're just letting him farm, letting him do what he wants to. Either they're going to do something different with the gameplay, or we're going to see that ban.
Well, every single fight we see, we actually notice Adapting jumping on really one of two players. It's usually Mast, and if that's not someone he can go on, he actually looks for JeffHindla. Obviously, he doesn't have the purification, but the issue is NRG don't have the burst, or they haven't had the burst to be able to pick up that tanky Bacchus.
And I think the reason why they are engaging on Mast is because they're underestimating Xenotronics, but right now he's doing so much for the team.
And someone that's not doing a lot this game is Adapting. emilitoo here, forced to rewind by BaRRaCCuDDa. BaRRa trying to take the 1v1, stunned out, but uses the airstrike to avoid it. Through space and time comes through, but BaRRaCCuDDa rotating around the backside of this. Here's ScaryD, unstable Vortex land. BaRRaCCuDDa very low here. Here comes Cataclysm. BaRRaCCuDDa portal, but great sentry. Mask pulls in Adapting in the Ragnarok. ScaryD up in the sky. ScaryD comes down. BaRRaCCuDDa still alive, but now Eagles rally. Yammyn picks up BaRRaCCuDDa. Mask knocked up as well. Adapting solo. JeffHindla, rebound knock up. ScaryD picks up the kill onto Adapting.
Dimi finds Mast, and now LG on full retreat. NRG are winning this fight, and they're chasing deep. iRaffer blinks into the back line, trying to body block. emilitoo looking for Jeff. He's stunned out, but he's not the target. ScaryD deep in, but a great depth shield gonna help get Dimi out. ScaryD does get picked up. NRG find 3.
And it was because the carry BaRRaCCuDDa was caught on the other side. He did die immediately. Great ult by Mast, actually getting Adapting away. They still get the kills. And overall, they just stacked up for Yammyn too, and he did so much damage to that fight. That's why they lost.
Also, ScaryD teleports in, but you saw the confusion. He didn't actually expect those two members to be right there behind him. When he TPs in, he kind of stops for a second, turns around, who am I going on? Then tries to rotate out.
Right, it was a very stacked fight, and being so stacked, if nobody knows it, Yammyn got like 2 insane
unstable vortexes.
Yeah, exactly.
Off.
There we go.
Just so much damage. It's okay. You're not a mid laner.
Right.
You're a support, Trix.
Speaking of the mid lane as well, one thing that allowed Yammyn to do so much damage in that fight was his very early Soul Reaver he's picked up, allowing him to do a lot of % HP damage.
Yeah, and we have seen the Soul Reaver been picked up really early by the mid laners, and I just think it's just for the early damage, the early burst, and that's what they're looking for in the Fenrir, just bursting one target down really quick.
It's that 100 to 0 potential, right? If he can proc that Soul Reaver on any squishy target like Mast, ScaryD, or, well, ScaryD is not really squishy with this build, but Xenotronics, Mast, or BaRRaCCuDDa, and then it's just a full dive in from Adapting as well. It's hard to deal with that as that assassin-type god.
And this game is so close, so it's going to come down to these team fights. Overall, both of the teams have a really strong team fight. I would say overall it goes to the way of Luminosity because the Noir is just so strong, but then again, we have seen emilitoo in these fights. If he gets some air in the fights, he's going to destroy everybody.
And BaRRaCCuDDa not really able to abuse his lead that much. We saw him rotate, which kind of allowed LG to even up the game, but he hasn't really been this huge impact player that we have seen so far this tournament.
Oh yeah, he was 3 levels ahead of emilitoo earlier, but now he's only 1 level ahead, and emilitoo is slowly getting there where you want to.
So far for me as well, Mast hasn't really had the impact I would have liked to see out of him. And it's very similar to how Adapting played last game on this Awilix.
I have to disagree. I think Mast has been great. His ultimate specifically against Adapting have been perfect, and he's getting put, there's so much pressure on him. You could see NRG, their focus typically is Mast in a lot of these fights, and even if Mast does die, I mean, he's 0-4-7. He's equal in farm to Adapting right now, who's 2-2-5, and he does a great job of buying so much time and allowing Xenotronics and BaRRaCCuDDa to kind of sit there and just pump out so much damage.
I understand the Awilix picks as well, but I'm not sure why they want to pick it when they have such a teamfight-oriented combo. They have the Noir really good in teamfight, the Bacchus, the Xing, everything just really good for teamfight. And the Awilix is not that kind of guy. You want to get picks. You don't really want to teamfight with that sort of guy.
ScaryD, Dimi going at it here in the solo lane. ScaryD, a lot of damage online from him, Adapting, creeping around in the jungle, potentially looking for a pick here. He is 3 levels behind the Ratatoskr though.
I mean, this would be great if we seen some sneaky fire giants. Maybe we only see Luminosity actually having that 1 ward on the fire giant, else there's not too many wards coming out from NRG.
ScaryD just going to be trying to farm up here as Gold Fury's actually spawning. You see iRaffer doesn't want to give these up for free. I think he secured 1 right there. And through space and time, NRG want to fight.
Here comes Raffer, here comes Adapting, here comes Yammyn. The whole squad of NRG's here, but here are 4 men of Luminosity as well, and they decide we don't want to take this fight.
And we have been talking about it. Raffer did pick Blink up, and I love the pick up, absolutely. Now they can get to the backline immediately. Maybe force a beast onto both Noir and BaRRaCCuDDa, so that's going to be great.
Gold Fury started up here by Luminosity, blinking from rubber into the knockup, but Cataclysm's onto 2. Unstable Vortex lands onto 2 members here. Emilitoo coming around the side, but JeffHindla knocked up into Mars. Ragnarok comes through. BaRRaCCuDDa gets a kill, and it looks like Dimi's coming in as well. Dimi gets a kill onto Mars. ScaryD gets adapting.
Yammyn by himself, though, pops his Sanctuary, trying to buy some time. BaRRaCCuDDa needs one more hit. emilitoo trades out as well. Barra 1v3, now on the retreat, but he's got ScaryD in tow, who dashes forward, looks for the stun on emilitoo, just trying to disengage now.
Oh, Dimi fighting 1v2 here, might be in a little bit of trouble. The disarm doesn't land. There is the bludgeon. BaRRaCCuDDa, another kill. emilitoo being forced back here. BaRRaCCuDDa knocks himself up, dashes forward, just avoids the stun here. Explosive bolt, can he find the kill here? The crits are coming through. emilitoo just running right. Xenotronics with the Shining Metal gets the kill.
That's two times there through the wall. The Shining Metal doing so much work.
So unfortunate from iRaffer, blinking into Xingwei's one and just getting knocked up immediately. He still gets free man, but it doesn't force BaRRaCCuDDa's speed, so he still had that up to get that pressure. Dimi and Yammyn actually got to the fight a little bit later as well. They didn't have the proper communication. I think Raffer should have waited a little bit and then blinked in.
And we really saw that the disruption you're talking about, that Awilix's ultimate causes Janus when he pulled in adapted.
Oh, Raffer, what in the world by himself? Okay. Picked off at the Fire Giant, just trying to counter ward. That's always dangerous. BaRRaCCuDDa, though, gets hit by that through space and time. This is going to make it hard for LG to stick on this Fire Giant. And you can see Adapting looking for it, but pulled back in. Brutalized, but it misses. Now Adapting trying to run away, but ScaryD's going to chase him down. BaRRaCCuDDa finds the kill. LG 16-10, still surrounding FG.
There should be a free Fire Giant here because Yammyn doesn't have through space and time. Dimi's coming through now. He does have his Wrath online. Eagle's Rally is available as well, but the Fire Giant already too low for Dimi to even get the steal. Luminosity take the Fire Giant.
And Mars being 0-5 is doing so much work. He's taken every single engage from Adapting. He can't do anything in this game.
It's just, both games he's been so quiet. He's bottom of the player damage. JeffHindla has more damage than Adapting at 27 minutes into the game. The Sex Tank has been rolling through SWC right now. This game, though, it's definitely not over for NRG. They've been doing a great job of, honestly, they've been even for most of the time. Raffer, though, trying to stop this gold.
Gets a 3-man Cataclysm, 2-man knockup.
Dimi
there, Eagles Rally. Dimi gets the kill on the mark. Xenotronics in a lot of trouble. emilitoo picks up the kill onto Xeno. JeffHindla nowhere to run, stunned out. Yammyn picks up the kill, a good couple of returns for NRG.
And this has come down to, first of all, NRG gets the perfect engage, but Luminosity hadn't backed. They needed to back before they could do that. NRG had all ults up, they had everything, they got the perfect engage, and they just got all the damage off.
And this is also the perfect position to end up in. They kill 3, they force 1 back. Right there, they're going to be able to grab 2 towers, head straight to the Phoenix, and it's BaRRaCCuDDa and ScaryD left alive to defend this. They almost might want to give it up at this point.
ScaryD jumping in, gets a knockup. Actually, Xenotronics immunes it there. emilitoo rewinds as well. They still get the left-hand side Phoenix. Energy with a re-engage.
Oh, he dashed in. I was a little bit worried for him. You can see Mast about to spawn, though. Same with JeffHindla, but LG just going to let NRG back off.
And NRG getting that left Phoenix is going to do so much for them because it is the hardest Phoenix to have down. When the Fire Giant comes up, the Firemen will go in, and they will not be able. They will be so far away from it that they can't rotate to it.
The one thing that LG has going for them with that left Phoenix down, though, is that they did pick up the Fire Giant just a couple minutes ago. And so by the time the Fire Giant respawns, the Phoenix is going to be respawning at about the same time. So they don't have to typically do that really hard, annoying deal of having ScaryD sit there because he's the one with the teleport.
And Luminosity do have 2 towers up in the left lane, and they have the Noir. Possibly they are going to look for a siege. They still have the Fire Giant onto 3 people, so they might still be able to siege this down.
We see both ScaryD and Adapting have picked up the Void Shield here. Talk to me what it brings to your team.
Void Shield, I mean, it's just a great protection item overall, and does great things for the team.
Yeah, I mean, reducing the physical procs of everyone around you and an AoE as well is just going to enable Mast and Barret to do more damage. It's just such a great item that provides that penetration, very similar to Witchblade, just those AoE auras doing so much against these multiple physical gods.
And NRG now, even though Luminosity have a fire giant onto 3 people, they're having the control over all the jungle. They're grouping up. They're not going to do any more mistakes. They know they had a bad fight to go free, but that was due to iRaffer's poor engage and just bad communication overall. So I think if they just play calculated now, they can win if iRaffer just gets a great engage.
I'm surprised to see the Magi's Blessing picked up here by Dimi rather than adapting.
Actually, I would actually have liked to see a Magi's Blessing onto adapting as well, because he got ulted by Mast every single time. So having that would be great, because every time he would jump in, Mast ult wouldn't connect. So I actually agree with you. He should be picking that Magi's Blessing up.
He's actually gone for the Midgardian Mail instead, which obviously going to be great against BaRRaCCuDDa, Mast, and Scary D if they're basic attacking him, which we've seen that a lot. You know, it's been adapting who's been almost a secondary engage now. Obviously, he was the hard engage at the beginning of the game, but ever since iRaffer picked up the blink, it's been Raffer the first in.
And I like the fact adapting is going a little bit more tanky. He realizes when he goes in, everybody will turn for him. Going a little bit more tanky and just being basically a beats forcer with his ultimate is just fine, because emilitoo and Yammyn is going to do enough damage for everybody.
It's such a complete kind of turnaround from last year when in the Cloud9 vs Epsilon set, when adapting picked up this Fenrir, he was the absolute hard carry of that set. Jumping onto Scary D now, Scary D forced up into the tree just to get away here from the damage.
And that's also why adapting is so good, because you said last time he played Fenrir, he was the hard carry, but adapting have multiple playstyles. The one guy, he realizes he's behind, and every time he jumps in, the focus is around him. He changes it up, so now he's basically just another bruiser, beat forcer, and he's doing great.
I like this idea for NRG, just group up and starting to really knock down all these towers. This means that if they do win another fight, it's going to be straight to the Phoenixes. They don't have to deal with all these towers, have to knock it down. Also just extending their gold lead ever so slightly. It's basically even at 31 minutes, but now when this Fire Giant spawns, LG aren't going to have a safe space, to retreat through.
Luminosity got to go to the left side right now, taking those fire creeps, because the Fire Giant is going to be contested soon, and if they don't get those fire creeps down, the Phoenix will go down.
NRG trying to take the tier 2 tower in the mid. Dimi dashes in there. No damage coming through from LG. Scary D dashes in, gets stunned out by emilitoo. A lot of damage onto the Ratatoskr. He's able to back away, however, and NRG going to push his minions through.
NRG realizes that the left side is pushing in. Luminosity have to defend that, and they leave the tower. There we go.
And you can see that Phoenix about to respawn, but the timing still in favor of NRG. Fire Giant there. There's still one more wave of fire minions for Scary D. Oh, look at this, it's a bait.
There's a purification for BaRRaCCuDDa through space and time. Lands, he's forced to airstrike away. JeffHindla jumping as well. Dimi there with the Eagles rally. JeffHindla in some trouble here. Dimi though, excellent use of the stun there from Xenotronics. Adapting around the backside, picks up JeffHindla. Unstable Vortex land. Jeff in a lot of trouble here. Jeff's gonna fall down.
Scary D gotta get out there. You can see 3 members of LG right in their middle. Phoenix, BaRRaCCuDDa's back as well. NRG not even looking at the Fire Giant. They're gonna go straight here trying to knock this down, and Firewind minions gonna be coming through the mid very shortly. And
just great job by NRG. They know they're defending the left side, waiting for anybody to go in. They see BaRRaCCuDDa forcing beats, forcing him back. JeffHindla is there, cutting him off, and then the Fenrir ult in the end to finish him off. Just such a great job from NRG.
And that was 2 players of LG just caught out by themselves. I mean, BaRRaCCuDDa is not going to expect that coming around the corner. Left Phoenix very weak and is going to get picked up, and here comes Scary D jumping down to the back line. emilitoo on adapting, looking for BaRRaCCuDDa, who's still alive. He actually dashes away. Xenotronics ult going to do a good amount of damage onto NRG, but the damage is done.
Ooh. Adapting, almost pulled back there. Great use of purification to keep himself safe. NRG, that threshold from the Janus, making this disengage so much easier.
And BaRRaCCuDDa does survive that because of the Aegis, but overall it's work for NRG. They get the Phoenix, they have so much control over the map right now, and it looks like it's going to go in the favor of NRG.
Left-hand side mid-camp's going to fall. Actually, adapting going to leave these ones alone. Just playing it safe. Before, we're talking about the lead that Luminosity have. Now it's swung back in favor of NRG.
He only dropped that because NRG had 0 wards on the right-hand side of the map outside of one spot where that tier 2 used to be. They needed to check on the FG, make sure LG didn't kind of just run straight through it and sneak it out from under their nose.
We are 34 minutes in the game, and we have a Noir on the table. He's almost finished his build. In these team fights, I think we're going to be looking at Xenotronics, how he's going to get his stunts off, whether he's going to get a lot of damage off. If he do that, I think Luminosity can still win this game.
You can see it's Mast on the left-hand side dealing with fire minions. No one on LG really in position, though. They're focused entirely on this Fire Giant, and this is great. NRG, they don't have to force this. If they just sit here and make sure LG sits in this area. Fire Minions are going to start pouring into that base, and someone will have to deal with them to defend the Titan.
JeffHindla bouncing in there onto iRaffer, no ultimate there. It's a bait to force out any relic. ScaryD in the Fire Giant pit. Gonna back away. Luminosity hanging around here. As you mentioned, Fireman is starting to force some pressure on the left-hand side.
Knock up from iRaffer. He is caught by himself, though. Gonna get stunned out. Shields himself as Dimi goes to zone the backline. Through space and time, hits Mass, and he's in trouble. ScaryD jumps down, but BaRRaCCuDDa pulled into all of NRG and picked off.
iRaffer very low here, but Luminosity, they don't have their carry, they don't have BaRRaCCuDDa here. They're going to lose this fight. ScaryD running away, but adapting over the wall. Adapting, chasing down ScaryD. The wrath is enough. Yammyn, though, around the side. Ooh, Xenotronics just up in the air in time. JeffHindla falls down to emilitoo. Yammyn picks up Xenotronics. Mars, the only one left on the right-hand side of the map. ScaryD about to fall down. Mars falls down. ScaryD falls down.
And
NRG just leaving the Phoenix alone. They're going to take game number 2.
Right, Luminosity was just way too focused on taking that fight. Just defend your Phoenixes, let them get the Fire Giant, and try to get a good fight.
Such a great turnaround there from NRG. The pace from about the midpoint of the game was just dictated by Luminosity, but NRG, all it needed was one fight at that Gold Fury to turn it around.
And the first time that happened, it was so unfortunate. The gust goes down from BaRRaCCuDDa just as iRaffer blinks in. He gets knocked up. They're not able to pick off BaRRaCCuDDa like they want. The second time it happens, though, LG weren't even expecting that. They had just knocked down a tier 2, get surprised by iRaffer. NRG do a great job after that of staying grouped. They weren't getting picked off.
Even though NRG was ahead in the start, Luminosity actually got back, but NRG just looking at all the advantages they can get and taking them. Just such a great team.
Also at the end of that game, I think both teams played it exactly how they needed to. Not only was NRG just sitting there going, hey, fight us or go into, have Fire Minions go into your Phoenixes, into your base, and you have to deal with that. And LG had two options. Give up Fire Giant and defend their base, or dive straight in. They dove straight in, it just didn't go their way.
NRG showing great adaptation there to Luminosity's playstyle. Analysts, break it down.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. What a game we just saw there. Luminosity, they were in the driver's seat for a good portion of that matchup. NRG had moments of greatness, but it was one particular moment that really tipped the odds in their favor. A fateful Gold Fury fight that just did not go the way that LG thought it was going to go. You know, I think one of the major things to take away from this with NRG is you give them a little bit of breathing room, and they're going to take it all, and that's just how this team plays.
Despite getting the Fire Giant earlier on, it didn't matter. NRG was doing such a good job capitalizing on any single opportunity, and like you mentioned before, it's very difficult to beat NRG 2 games in a row.
Yeah, once you have, you know, you got to win the first game against NRG because they are a team that will come back, and they're going to come back hard. Like you said, Golden Boy, you have to play so perfect against NRG in order to take the win, and it's hard to play 100% every single game.
They're doing a good job with their mobility for Yammyn, the protections between the Geb shields for iRaffer as well. So they're able to bounce back. You know, they can play offensive with adapting on the Fenrir. Speaking of the Fenrir, the last year's World Semifinal between Epsilon versus Cloud9, adapting was winning on both Fenrir and Naja, so maybe we could see more of this pick.
Although I gotta say, both the junglers this game, performances fairly mediocre compared to the rest of the games or what we expected from them. Luminosity side, ScaryD putting in an absolute ton of work that game, playing brilliantly. BaRRaCCuDDa playing great, of course, but not enough to take over Yammyn and the boys.
Yeah, I do think ScaryD is really having the tournament of his life here. He's playing just some phenomenal Smite. And on top of that, too, looking over at BaRRaCCuDDa, victory or defeat hinges on this man and what he's capable of doing. But when we were talking about that this is a different BaRRaCCuDDa than what we've seen in the past, what makes BaRRaCCuDDa's aggressive play this time around just a tad bit different from what he did back then?
Something just switched and clicked inside this man's head, honestly. Both him and Zadman switched their sides. Like, all right, I'll take your style, you take mine. We're going to make it work. And it actually did. Eager got to the semifinals, unfortunately lost. And now BaRRaCCuDDa and his boys are here, and they're making it work. When was the last time you saw BaRRaCCuDDa dive anything?
It's been a long time. Honestly, I want to say that's kind of part of this Luminosity team. They very well work around BaRRaCCuDDa. He's definitely the center of their team, and so you're going to have, you know, JeffHindla's always defending him, and he's going to have Mass making sure that he's okay. Everybody's job on this team is to make sure that BaRRaCCuDDa can carry as hard as he can, and I think he feels very safe to be more aggressive than he has in past teams, because you know his team's entire job is to defend him.
And despite losing that last game, yet again on the Jing way, doing such a great job, just being able to transition from the Hunter role, making a big impact in all of these team fights, I still think that NRG should be able to take that option away from them.